Hello, it's been a while. I've been taking care of my mother and I haven't had a lot of time to do ASMR, so it feels really good to have some time tonight. Let's light a match. Or light our candles. Thank you for being here. I hope you are doing well on this day or night, wherever you are. Thank you so much for listening and liking or subscribing. Oh, there we go. Let's blow this out before I burn the house down. Yes, I'm so excited because tonight I have a new story for you. But first, let's do some manifestation, intentional. I don't know what the word is, but these are labradorites. And this is holly blue agate, and this stone is only found in Sweet Home, Oregon. You can't really see it that good, but hopefully the energy is coming your way. Anyway, it has the highest vibration, one of the highest vibrations of any stone. So we're gonna start by moving that around in some labradorite. Remember using labradorite during the eclipse? You should research it. I can't remember exactly right now how powerful it is, but anyway, let's have the intention of manifesting our dreams and our happiness and good health, okay? Now for the good stuff. Black Beauty. I finally am reading this. I'm going to pop a cough drop here. After getting a couple of requests for it last year. So I have to read the introduction about the author because I read it today and I really resonated with her because I'm the same age she was when she was writing this book. So let me share her story with you. Anna Sewell. Before we start reading the actual story. Thanks again for being here. I am sorry I've been gone so long, but I am back with a great book. About the book, Black Beauty is the life story of a horse written by Anna Sewell and is one of the most famous animal stories written for children. This story is narrated by Black Beauty himself. Black Beauty talks about being a young and happy colt on an English farm. He then moves on to pull cabs in London. It ends with his happy retirement back on the farms in the countryside. The book narrates the many experiences Black Beauty has throughout his life. It describes while some people treat horses with extreme cruelties, others do so with much kindness. Black Beauty is a book that was written so that after reading it, people would treat horses with more kindness and sympathy. The book was published in 1877 and was the only one Anna Sewell ever wrote. She received 40 pounds at the time. I think that's pounds. Or about 3,600 something now. I don't know, shillings. The book has sold more than 50 million copies and is one of the best-selling books of all time. Wow, she She didn't get very much for it, did she? Listen to this woman's story about the author. Anna Sewell was born on March 30th, 1820 in England. Her family consisted of her father, Isaac, her mother Mary, and her younger brother Philip. They were not very well off. Anna was taught at home by her mother because there wasn't enough money to send her to school. When she was 14, Anna had a bad fall and could not stand or walk without a crutch for the rest of her life. This meant she used horse-drawn carriages to move around, and that's when she developed a love for animals, especially horses. Anna grew to be a very kind and gentle woman who did not like it when animals were treated cruelly. She never used a whip on her horses, and this kindness is described in her famous novel, Black Beauty. When she was just 25 years old, her health began to deteriorate. She traveled to many places looking to get better treatment. She began writing Black Beauty when she was 51 years old. It took her almost 6 years to complete the book, and because of her bad health, the book was finally published in 1877. Black Beauty went on to become one of the top 10 best-selling children's novels ever written. It is the only novel she ever wrote. Anna died just 5 months after it was published at the age of 58. There's a museum at her birthplace in the Anna Sewell Memorial Fountain in USA. So I really resonate with that because that's about the age 51 I started writing one of my children's books. And I am trying to get it published right now. So we'll see. Hopefully I don't die right after it's published, but I am determined because I think the world needs the book. So I'll keep you updated on that book. Look at that. All the illustrations are black and white, but they're sweet. Look. Here we go. Black Beauty, Chapter 1. Remember, he's telling the story. The first place I remember at my home was a large meadow with a pond of clear water in it, surrounded by trees. On one side of its fence was a plowed field with large fir trees and a brook running along the bottom. Our master lived in a house by the roadside on the opposite side. I stayed close to my mother during the day and lay by her side at night. While I was young, I lived on my mother's milk. As I grew older and was able to eat grass, my mother went to work in the daytime and returned in the evening. I had great fun galloping around with 6 other colts. They were older and larger than me. Some of them even looked like grown-up horses. Playtime got rough sometimes when the other colts would kick and bite. One day my mother told me, "Please listen carefully." Look at the gold foil. To what I am about to tell you. Some of the other colts here belong to cart horse families, but you come from a good family. Your father is well regarded. Your grandfather was the champion at the races, and your grandmother was known by all as a very sweet horse. I hope you too will grow up to be gentle, hardworking, never learn bad ways, and never kick or bite, even at playtime. I always remember my mother and her advice. Our master called her Pet, even though her name was Duchess. My mother would neigh joyously and trot up to the gate as soon as she saw him, and he would lovingly ask, "Hello, dear Pet, how is our little darky?" called me darky as my skin was a dull black color. He would give me a piece of bread and a carrot to my mother. If he went to town, he would ride there on my mother. There was a plowboy named Dick who came into our field to pluck blackberries from the fence. He would throw stones at the colts to make them gallop. He thought this was fun, but it would hurt us. One day our master spotted him throwing stones at us and gave him such a box on his ear that he let out a loud cry of pain. Master scolded him, "Take your money and be gone. I do not wish to see you on my farm ever again." And that was the last time we ever saw Dick. One morning, when all of us colts were feeding, we heard some sounds. One of the older colts among us knowingly announced, "The hounds are coming." We stopped feeding and trotted towards the top of the field to get a better look. An older horse and my mother were already there. My mother said, "They're chasing a hare." We were hoping we could see the hunt when we saw the dogs rushing at top speed into the field beside ours. They made strange sounds like I had never heard before. Unusual and loud, yo, yo, oh, oh sounds. Several men on horses followed the hounds. The old horse with my mother followed their every move very attentively, and we young colts were very anxious and excited. It was as if we wanted to run alongside them. Quite suddenly and unexpectedly, we lost sight of them. We were confused, wondering what happened. Just then we saw that they had stopped in the fields below. The horsemen waited impatiently while the dogs ran about sniffing the ground frantically. The old horse with my mother explained, "The hounds have lost the hare and are trying to locate it by its scent. The hare may escape after all." "Which hare might it be?" I asked, curious to know. "It could be a hare from our part of the woods. One never knows. These dogs and huntsmen can chase and hunt any animal," said the old horse. They seemed to have traced it, for soon they were back with their cries of yo, yo, oh, oh, louder than ever. "Now look out for the hare," said my mother. Poor thing. The hare, looking frightened and confused, ran about, trying to cross the fence and hide at the same time. It tried to cross the fence, but it was too plump, so it turned around, hoping to get to the road. At last it was too late. The hounds had rushed in, leaping over the stream, with the horsemen right behind. The hounds were howling loudly, which meant they got what they wanted. A huntsman rode closer, picked up the hare, and everyone cheered at the end of a successful hunt. I was so stunned that I did not notice that 2 fine horses and their riders had fallen in this wild chase and were groaning with pain. One of the horsemen, covered in mud, got up with great difficulty, but the other horseman didn't move. "He must have broken his neck," my mother seemed to understand. "Good. Now he will learn his lesson for hunting a poor little hare," said one of the younger colts. "I don't think we should say that," said my mother. "I don't understand why men love hunting animals. They can easily get these animals in the market. Not only do they hurt themselves, but also spoil good horses. And cause immense damage to fields," she continued, looking very upset. We saw that our master had rushed to help the fallen rider. Soon some men gathered around and carried him to our master's house. So shortly afterwards, we heard the news that the rider was George Gordon. Oh, the squire's only son. And he had died in the chase. Oh, that's sad. I didn't know this book was so sad. Riders were sent to inform his father, Squire Gordon, to get the doctor and the farrier. Mr. Bond, the farrier who put horseshoes on horses, arrived soon. He shook his head as he found that one leg was broken. Someone brought a gun from our master's house and we heard a loud bang. My mother was very upset after that incident. She never visited that side of the field again. She said that the name of the black horse was Rob Roy. He was a very good horse. After some days, we heard the church bells ringing for a long time. Someone said they were carrying young Gordon to the churchyard to bury him. All I understood was that this was all for the sake of hunting one little hare. Chapter 2. Growing up and moving out. Everyone thought I was handsome. My coat was a shiny black. I had one white foot and a white star on my forehead. My master, Farmer Gray, said he would not sell me till I was 4 years old. He said that just as young boys should not be made to work like grown-up men, young colts like me should also not have to work like grown-up horses. When I turned 4, Squire Gordon examined me keenly. He checked that I could see properly, that my teeth were intact, and that I did not limp while walking. He liked me and said, "Break him in properly and he will do well." Breaking in a horse is to teach it to wear a saddle and bridle, to carry his rider well and quietly. The horse must learn to understand the wishes of his rider and be well behaved. And once the harness was on, he had to drag the heavy load of the cart. My master said he himself would break me in. Where are you? The very next day, he gave me some oats and spoke to me lovingly and gently as he fixed my bit. A bit is a hard piece of steel that is fixed into the mouth and its straps go around the head. It feels awful, but my master's kind ways made it easy for me. There's the bridle, saddle, stirrup, hooves, reins, hooves. It's funny, the other things are all like parts of the gear, and then the hooves are a part of the horse. Next was the saddle. Old Daniel held my head while my master put it on my back gently, patting and talking to me as he tightened the straps. After a few days, my master got on my back and rode me around the meadow. It felt strange, but I felt very proud and important carrying my master. After that came the task of wearing the iron shoes. The blacksmith took each of my feet, that's why they have the hooves, cut some of the hoof, and then nailed in a piece of iron on the hoof. At first my feet felt heavier, but I got used to it soon enough. Now my master thought I was ready to be fixed to a harness. So a collar was put on my neck and blinkers were put on either side of my eyes. Blinkers are two side pieces that allow the horse to look only in front, and the side view is blocked. I heard that breaking in was painful for a horse. Never in my life had I wanted to kick out so much, but I did not have the heart to kick my good master. Before long, I had adjusted to it all and was working as well as my mother. See, a little white spot there and a white ankle. Other than that, he's all black. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. If you're enjoying this, please like and subscribe if you aren't already. Please, please. A very important part of my training was getting me used to the loud sounds of a train. My master sent me to a nearby farm which was by a railway track. When the first train rushed past, making loud sounds and puffing out smoke, I was very startled and frightened, so I galloped to the other side of the meadow. As many other trains went by, I saw that the cows on the farm were not troubled. After a few days, I understood that the trains wouldn't come into our fields or harm us, so I too stopped bothering. Once my master thought I was trained enough to draw a carriage with the partner horse, he began to harness me with my mother. One day, she gave me some great advice. If you wish to be treated well, you must be well behaved and take care of your master's wishes. You will never know what kind of a master you may get. But wherever you are, do your best to make a good name for yourself. One day in May, Squire Gordon sent his man to bring me to his stables. Be a good horse, darky. Do your best, my master said, patting me goodbye as I left my first home. I was taken to Squire Gordon's park near Birtwick Village. It was a beautiful place. The paddock and the stables were large enough to hold many horses and carriages. My stable was big and airy with 4 stalls. The first stall was called the loose box because the horse put in it was not tied. He was left loose and could do as he pleased. I was happy to be put into this box as it was pleasant and clean. My groom gave me some very nice oats, patted me, spoke to me in a kind voice, and left. Once I had finished eating, I looked around. I saw a gray pony in the stall next to mine. He was slightly fat, had a thick mane and tail, a very pretty head, and a cute little nose. I turned to him and asked, "Hello, what is your name?" He was tied, so he turned around as much as he could and said, "Hello, I am Merrylegs. The ladies like to ride me. James is very fond of me, too. Are you going to be here next to me?" "Yes," I answered. "In that case, I hope you do not kick or bite and are well-mannered," Merrylegs said. I was about to answer him when I heard someone say, "So you have taken my place, have you now? How rude." That was a tall, chestnut-brown-colored mare, looking at me from another stall. She looked beautiful, but her eyes seemed to say that she had a foul temper. I began to explain. "Pardon me, I was put here by the man who brought me, and I wish to live peacefully." "We'll see," she said, and turned away. Someone's jealous. I thought she was rather rude, but decided it was better to be quiet. Afterwards, Merrylegs told me about her. She's called Ginger because she has a nasty habit of biting. when she was in the loose box, she bit James in the arm and he was bleeding. That frightened Miss Flora and Miss Jessie, and they stopped coming to the stable. I missed them. I hope you are not like Ginger. I told him I only bite grass, hay, and corn. I would never dream of hurting anyone. I think that's Mary Lakes. I don't think Ginger means to hurt anyone, Mary Lakes went on. She says she was treated very badly before she came here. I can tell you that this is the best place for a horse to be. John and James are both very kind to her. Our master, too, is very good. He wouldn't use the whip if he didn't need to. So it is entirely Ginger's fault and nobody else's. He uses a whip. The next morning, my new coachman gave me a good scrub. His name was John Manley. He had a wife and a child. He had been working here for 14 years and lived nearby in a cottage meant for coachmen. He handled me gently. I felt comfortable. It's so funny. That's my sister's husband's name. I think we have time for one more chapter. Yeah, let's do one more. Chapter 3. A new name and new friends. John had just finished when Squire Gordon walked up to see me. He looked at me and seemed happy. He told John to ride me around the place to test me. He said he would have liked to ride me, but he was busy that morning. So after breakfast, John very gently and carefully fitted my bridle and saddle and got onto my back. He rode me slowly at first, picking up the pace as we went along until I was galloping. Well done, boy. You'd sure do well in a hunt and keep pace with the hounds, he said. He rode me for a while, beginning slowly and picking up pace continuously. Soon he had me galloping. I was picking up John's instructions well. On our way back from the ride, we met Squire Gordon and his wife, Mrs. Gordon. John quickly jumped off to talk to him. I'm on page. Fantastic horse, John said. Fantastic horse, sir, John said. He seems to have been trained well and treated with great care. He quickly understands the wishes of the rider. He's not easily startled or distracted, but keeps about his business responsibly. I will ride him tomorrow, said the squire. Next morning, John got me ready for my ride with my new master, Squire Gordon. Once he had mounted my back, I tried to follow all the advice given to me by my mother and my master, Farmer Gray, to do exactly as the rider pleased. When we were done, we rode up to his home, and Mrs. Gordon asked him what he thought of me. Just the way John described him, it was a pleasure riding him. I think he will make us happy. What shall we name him? He asked. The lady suggested I be named Ebony, as I was as black as ebony, but the squire refused. Next, she proposed Blackbird, like the squire's uncle's horse. Squire refused Blackbird too. He said I was more handsome than these names suggested. Well, in that case, how about calling him Black Beauty? Asked the lady. I think that suits him perfectly, for he is a beauty to look at and to ride too. Let's call him Black Beauty then. And so it was. I was now Black Beauty. When John told James my new name, James said, well, if I had to name him, I would have liked to name him Rob Roy, since he looks so much like him. To this, John remarked, that isn't a surprise now, is it, since Farmer Gray's Duchess was the mother of them both? Oh, that was his brother. Oh boy. That's why the mom was so upset. This is when I understood that Rob Roy was my brother. That explained why my mother was so upset at his death and never visited that part of the meadow again. John liked me very much. He was very kind and gentle with me and took great care to make me look well groomed. He talked to me a lot and seemed to understand how I would like to be handled. I quickly took a liking to him too. The stable boy was James Howard. He too, like John, was kind and pleasant. I considered myself lucky for having found a comfortable second home. A few days later, Ginger and I were taken out together in the carriage. At first, I was not sure how it would be to ride alongside her, knowing she could be rude and had a bad temper. To my great surprise, she turned out to be the best partner I could have wished for. She was not only very well behaved, but also a very good worker. She worked hard and understood what the rider wanted. Our master was very happy to take us out together because we trotted well together and he never needed to use the whip. Use the whip on either of us. There they are. What's her name again? Ginger and Black Beauty. She's a chestnut mare and he's a boy. I guess he's a stallion now. We used to be the perfect pair. Oh, we seemed to be the perfect pair. We were taken out on rides together frequently. Soon we were both very comfortable with one another and became friends. Mary Legs and I got along very well too. He was so cheerful that he was loved by one and all. Like he had mentioned to me on my first day, Miss Jessie and Miss Flora were especially fond of him and rode him and played games along with him and Frisky, their dog. There were 2 other horses in the other stable. One of them was called Justice and was used for the luggage cart. The other was Sir Oliver, who had been a hunter but was too old to hunt now. Our master seemed very fond of him as he took him for a ride occasionally. He was a gentle horse, and the master found him trustworthy to have around the children, like Mary Legs. I would chat with him sometimes and found him to be well-mannered. I was friendly with all the horses, but I was most comfortable with Ginger. I must admit I was very well taken care of in my new home. I had everything any horse could ask for, the best of food and a spacious, airy stable. Yet there was one thing that I missed, and that was my freedom. For the first 3.5 years of my life, I could do whatever I wished, but now I had to do what others expected of me. These pages really stick together. Don't want to burn my book. I don't mean to complain, but as a young horse, being free to prance around and play with the other colts was nicer than having the bit in my mouth, blinkers over my eyes, and straps all over. Like all other grown-up horses with years of experience, I needed to stand and wait till someone needed me and do the same for every day of my life. I understood that it was my duty and I would perform it the best I could. All I'm saying is that it was very hard for a young and energetic horse to lose his freedom to run free with his friends whenever he felt like. Sometimes John would sense my need to roam freely, so he would take me out of the village and let me gallop. He knew I needed more time out in the open, and he would let me have my way sometimes. Even then, He knew when to pull the reins, and that was a signal for me to calm down. I was so close to him that I understood him just by the tone of his voice. During the summer, we would have some free time on Sundays. The free time was a treat for us, as we would be let out into the home paddock or in the old orchard to do as we pleased. We could walk about on the soft grass, or lie down, or stand together and talk under the chestnut tree. This was a relaxing, happy feeling, like I was at home. Next time we'll start with chapter 4. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. It would help me so much. Makes me feel so good. Anyway, I hope you're doing good. I hope this story time helped you to relax or fall asleep. And we're just gonna end tonight by blowing out the candles. So, peace, love to you. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, thanks guys, girls, whatever you call yourself. I love you. Thank you so much. Night night or good morning.